Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Football Heritage Podcast. It's been a long time since we've been active, but we're back. Obviously, we're gonna try to be more consistent for you guys. And a lot of stuff has happened since obviously we've been gone. So yeah, we're just gonna get straight into it. We're gonna start off with the breaking news from today. Nagelsmann being sacked by Bayern Munich. Um, in my opinion, I feel like it's a really, really strange one. I don't see the logical reason as to why he would be sacked. In terms of football, I don't really see being 1 point off the top of but off the Bundesliga as a reason to be sacked. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. So guys, just first thoughts on Bayern and Nagelsmann parting ways or Bayern even sacking Nagelsmann. All right, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's a very, very like shocking decision. Like you said, they're 1 point off top of the league. I think they've won all their games in the Champions League. They're about to play City now, midway through the season. And yeah, I don't really see why. Like, apparently it's because I think like Bayern really wanted to go, but like I feel like now they felt like he was available and like it was the best time to just get him before someone else came in. But I don't know, it's just a bit, it's kind of like you have a manager that's, doing well. And like you just get rid of him, just to bring in one that you feel like maybe would be better, or like I don't know, it doesn't really make any sense really. And I think Bayern were had a strong chance of, even beating City, even maybe even getting to the finals, despite their tough side. But yeah, and also apparently like also didn't know as well, so he got it like as a surprise as well, which I don't know, feels kind of disrespectful, like them allowing it to get leaked. Imagine finding out you're sacked on Twitter before like you even know that you're actually sacked. I can't imagine like how he must feel. But he's a really like he's young, he's promising and stuff like that. I think there'll be many clubs lining up to take him. So it's not the end of the world for him, but yeah, it just doesn't make any sense really. Maybe something also happened internally. That's my guess, but yeah, I don't. Has Bayern released the statement? I don't know if Bayern has
I
released.
don't think they've have they?
I don't have they.
Yeah, I think they have. I
Oh,
think
Hmm.
they
I
announced
haven't
that
seen.
Tuchel's going to take over as well.
I haven't
Did they
seen.
say
Yeah,
any reason
let me
why,
double
or
check that.
did
I'm
they
pretty
put
sure.
that out there like that? Oh yeah, they have released the
It's
statement.
probably something to do with them not getting along with the. It's nothing
Yeah,
to do
it
with
might
football.
might be along those lines. Yeah, but I don't know. Very very funny, very funny. Like modern football is just very very strange. Yeah, imagine being 1 point off the top of the league, 8 out of 8 in the Champions League. You're literally flying, and they're sacking him. It's a very shocking decision. But yeah.
Very odd. Dan, what's your thoughts on it?
Um, to be honest, I don't know. It's a bit weird because like I don't really know the kind of ins and outs, day to day kind of business of Bayern. So I don't know if there's any like internal problems or if they've been playing awfully or anything like that. But just looking based off their results in the Champions League and the Bundesliga, it's not. It doesn't look like sackable like results. It doesn't look like they had to sack him ASAP. And I saw like rumors. I think Fabrizio Romano was saying that one of the main contributors was that they didn't want to miss out on Thomas Tuchel, which I think is very, very harsh. Like if you're sacking a manager because you don't want to miss out on another manager, not because they've done anything wrong, is I don't know. I just think it's very harsh, and especially considering that Nagelsmann he's still a fairly like young manager
Yeah, he's in
who
his 30s, right?
yeah,
Or
like,
is it?
and
Yeah.
maybe he got this job a bit early, but even then, I think Bayern have the luxury of not performing at like their maximum level and still comfortably winning the Bundesliga. And I mean, I think if you'd have asked before, like last week, who does everyone think is going to win the Bundesliga, everyone would have said Bayern anyway. And like, if you'd have asked who is within the top, I don't know, three favorites to win the Champions League, I think people would say Bayern as well. So I don't know, to be honest with you, in terms of why they sacked him, but Tuchel's an interesting appointment. I don't know what he's going to do with their current team, um, but it'd be interesting to see what he does and what Nagelsmann does as well. I know Real Madrid and Spurs are likely landing spots, but who knows?
This man's still there.
I think he's frozen.
He looks like he's just on a stretch in jail, man. Well, like Denzel. Yo, Denzel, you still there? Oh, but what the Nagelsmann thing? You know what? I saw some because I know they lost to Leverkusen last game 2-1, and I know he was saying how he's basically doing like a Conte. I didn't read the whole thing. My bad, but I just saw the bits of it, and it was saying how the players were unprofessional and stuff like that. And you know, it gets deep when you start targeting the players and you're saying this and that, especially like see when you're a Nagelsmann as well. You're not Jose in it. You don't have the pedigree quite yet. He's a very good up and coming manager in it, but sometimes when someone's been there and done it, you can kind of. I mean, when you're a top player yourself, you might just say, "I don't want to work with him in it," because
But where do you draw the line with that? Because like you look at Graham Potter and people say, "Oh, he doesn't call out his players as much. He's too much of a yes man." But then you look at Nagelsmann, you say, "Oh, you don't really have the pedigree to call out your players." So like, how do you draw the line?
I mean, I don't know, man. You have to know the type of players you're working with. It's people management at the end of the day, innit? You gotta know what switches the buttons in a sense. Obviously, people always talk about Jose and how Jose is outdated. That players nowadays don't respond to the way he works and stuff like that. So I guess it depends on the type of players you work. Depends on the aura and the way you carry yourself, innit? Because some people, even if you're not quite at the top, people can feel, you got a presence about you, innit? So I don't know, man, but I think it's one of the things where he probably had issues with the players as well. Because if all the players liked him, or the mass majority liked him, sacking him midway through a season is kind of stupid, isn't it? Maybe at the start of the season you can hear it, but middle of the season and the players really like him, that's dumb. So there probably was a bit of friction in the dressing room. Just saying, innit? Because I don't think you can justify sacking a likable manager midway through the season when you're only like a point off top and quarterfinals. You can't really justify that. And for no disrespect, Tuchel's obviously a top manager, but I mean for Tuchel, and you got Nagelsmann, like, is that even an upgrade? Would you guys say it's an upgrade?
In terms of pedigree, it is, but I don't know. Like,
I don't think it's an upgrade. I don't think.
Are you saying it's an upgrade?
I just don't understand it.
With the circumstances, I don't know. It doesn't really feel like an upgrade with the circumstances, but like looking at coach to coach and like what they've accomplished, all of that stuff, like it's obviously an upgrade. But you
think it's an upgrade?
In terms of pedigree, yeah, like Tuchel's won the Champions League.
Yeah. Say it's an upgrade.
I don't know if it's an upgrade, man.
I would just say it's probably just based on the circumstances. It's probably not because, like, just like sacking your manager midway through the season and getting a new one in. Yeah, it's not long term. It might be, but I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. It's one of those things that you'd have to judge based on what happens. If they lose to City now, it's kind of like everyone will be like, oh, they should have kept Nigel, he might have given them a fighting chance and stuff like that. But yeah, like again, football is really a results-based sport. So if Tuchel ends up doing brilliantly well, wins the Champions League and stuff, everyone will say, okay, yeah, maybe it was the right decision then. That's just really how the sport is, per se.
The thing with the champs thing, yeah, he's got Nagelsmann has 100% record in the champs with Bayern, so it's not like, say if Tuchel takes them to the Champions League, you're already taking a team with a 100% record. It's not really as big as an maybe winning it with Chelsea.
They beat like Lech Poznan. I think Barca, to be fair, they beat Barca twice. Poznan and who else? Oh, PSG as well is another one.
No, it's the last season. Who did they knock out?
Who did they knock out?
Who knocked out Bayern?
Was it City? No,
it was Villarreal, isn't it?
Yes, I think it was.
That was a shock.
Yeah. And then Liverpool knocked out Villarreal.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, that was a shocking one. Okay. Yeah, he probably that was a shocking thing. I do remember that. I think. But yeah, I don't know. This season he's been really good, beating PSG. PSG didn't even score a goal. I don't think they've even. I think I saw that they hadn't also conceded this season in the Champions League.
I think Poznan scored against them. Funnily enough, I think they're the only team.
I just don't get a second of it. Like, I don't get why they're sacking him. Another question I have is, where does he go from here?
I think
Where's
Spurs.
his next destination?
I think
Spurs.
Spurs.
Yeah.
I think it's good for all parties involved as well. Because do you know how, like, and I know we'll come on to Spurs, but do you know how people are talking about how Spurs need like more of a project manager rather than a serial winner? The funny thing is, I think Nagelsmann is like, I think he is has the potential to be a project manager, but he also has that pedigree where he's not like some of the names that have been floated around where Spurs fans have turned their noses up. And I think he's definitely like got the tactical nous and got the room to grow with a new kind of Spurs team. So I think that's a good move. Like, I know you were mentioning Real Madrid yesterday when we were talking about it. I could see that happening, but I don't know why I feel like they'd probably go in a different direction. Like, I feel like they're like.
I don't know. I'm thinking if Bayern don't think he's good enough for them, I don't think Real Madrid. I don't think Real Madrid are gonna.
But there's not a wealth of options though, realistically, like managerial options.
True. I mean, Zidane is still free. I don't know what his plan is.
Zidane's not gonna go.
Zidane has been waiting for the France job, but they've renewed the Deschamps contract, so I don't know where he's gonna go from there.
I don't know if he comes back for the third time.
He's not gonna do that because why would you leave for a second time?
Airtight. Yeah, he's not gonna want to risk that. Yeah. I don't know. The amount of coaches available is not too. Enrique has already been in Barcelona, so I don't think he's gonna go to. He's not even a Real Madrid type of manager. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky.
Yeah, I feel like Ancelotti is perfect for them, but obviously, possibility of Brazil is looming, so they're gonna have to start looking at options. Maybe Poch, you see, go. But I don't think Poch is a Real Madrid manager. I feel like Poch is a manager similar to Lopetegui, where he goes there for a little bit and it just doesn't really work.
Yeah, I don't think it will work, but I think he would just like be a stopgap until like a better candidate comes along. I think the long-term option will probably be Xabi Alonso. I don't know why I can foresee that.
Yeah,
I think that's
Conte.
Like, he's doing quite well.
Conte at Madrid. I don't know.
They might consider him. I don't see it happening, but they might consider him.
It's a manager merry-go-round at the moment. Anyone can land anywhere, to be honest.
It is.
It's like a transitional period of managers, I think.
It is. There are a lot of new managers coming through. Yeah,
the old school kind of serial winners are kind of like fading out and like not at that top echelon anymore.
Yeah,
so like kind of new coaches that
not more
aren't
focused
really,
on tactical. Yeah.
They're not really ready for the big jump yet, and like it's kind of in between.
I think Spurs makes the most sense when you break it down.
Yeah, I think he does well. I think he does well generally. I think he does well at Spurs. I think he kind of just gives them some.
What the fans doing well at Spurs though? That's the thing.
What
the fans doing well at Spurs?
It depends how Arsenal are doing. If they're doing as good as Arsenal or better, then that's you're laughing. I'm being dead serious.
Genuinely, that is how Spurs.
I'm being dead serious. If Arsenal start doing badly and Spurs are consistently getting top four, they'll say he's done fantastic.
Weird mentality to have.
The best thing for Spurs, like doing well at Spurs, is it's the barest minimum, and I still don't understand how, if you're getting top four consistently with Spurs and you're winning the odd trophy here and there, FA Cup, they
don't win nothing,
and maybe getting a Champions League run, quarters, stuff like that. Like people will think you're that is good. That is actually really good. I also think Poch may also go back. That's probably a very strong. But I don't think Levy's really gonna basically that's accepting defeat basically, because you tried it with other managers, it didn't work, and then you're going back to what but I don't know. I don't think they should have sacked Poch. I think they should have just kept him. Like eventually, you keep knocking on the door. Poch was going to win something with Spurs. I felt if Poch was there from then until now, I think Spurs would have won, something for sure. And I think they would have at least had some level of consistency. Like getting a Champions League final with, I know people downplay that a lot because obviously they didn't win.
Crazy. It's insane.
That is a crazy achievement.
Well, a squad of losers, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the manager merry-go-round, really, like you said. Yeah, everyone is just hopping here and there. I want to see where Enrique is gonna go. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Spurs, might as well go on to the Antonio Conte situation. I've seen some conflicting reports. I saw like 3 days ago saying, "Oh, Spurs to decide Conte's future within the next 48 hours." He's still there. Like we're still chilling. What do we think is gonna happen with Spurs and Conte? The floor is free. Anyone can hop in because this is an open discussion.
I don't know. I think they're gonna let. He's obviously by the end of the season he's gonna be gone for sure. I think that's pretty much confirmed. But whether they sack him now after the comments he made, I don't know, because I feel like if they're still trying to make top four, Conte probably is still their best chance now. If they sack him now, they would have to bring in Mason to step in for a bit. Yeah, I don't know. The whole it can go one or two ways. That's always the thing. But I think their best chance of getting top four is probably just keeping Conte and seeing it through the end of the season. But if the players are no longer playing for him, I can imagine how the dressing room must be right now. So, at the end of the day, it must be like a very, very like toxic environment in there. And Conte doesn't hold back. He says what he thinks. He says what's on his mind. He's more or less begging to leave. He was more or less begging at some point. Please sack me, kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. Spurs are just like, it's kind of like they're so content with the level they are. They don't really kind of want to the board and the whole thing. Like obviously they would say they want to like achieve more and stuff, but with their actions, with how they, I don't really see them. I see them as being content with just being that team that's always sometimes in top four, around top four, maybe one very good season third or something like that. But I don't really see them as wanting to go above and beyond. And I think Conte knows that. I think every manager that's gone there really knows that, Poch tried to make the best of what he could, do with the resources he had, but, Mourinho couldn't really get anything done there. Conte, and these are good managers. Obviously, people say like, they're maybe like past their time or whatever, but they're still fundamentally good managers. And, if you can't even achieve anything, and these are guys who, they win trophies, they go to clubs, they win trophies, even if it's the EFL Cup, and even if they can't do this at these clubs, then it's kind of like you're the problem. It's kind of like if like, oh, let's say there's a girl and like she keeps on getting in relationships and they keep breaking up with her all the time. So at some point, you should have to think to herself, maybe it's me, maybe I'm the problem. And I think Spurs should know that, and they should realize that, yeah, the whole establishment needs to just like, it needs to be, they need a proper rebuild, like fundamentally and everything, like the way they think, the way, even them being in the big six or whatever, it really just a PR this thing from the Premier League. Like there's like, they have done nothing to deserve like to be, treated with the same or put in the same category as like, United, Liverpool, Arsenal. Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, even like what Conte said about Richarlison as well too. Yeah, he's very outspoken, yeah. So, and it's kind of like they don't want to be called out, on being bad, because, but at the end of the day, like if the players are not meeting up to the standards, then you just have to say something. Yeah, I thought they could make top four, challenge United, but just that their performance against Wolves, then this one again against Southampton, it just made me realize that like Spurs are always going to be Spurs. And yeah, I don't see them making the top four anymore. Yeah.
I didn't actually see the full thing. I just saw that he was saying they're not good under pressure. What does he say? It's like they can't handle pressure.
I think he said that Spurs never play important games. He's like, this club hasn't won a trophy for this long. These players aren't used to playing in important games, and they don't know how to handle it. And he said that, like, I think another thing he said was, he was like, there's some players that are playing for themselves, not the team. So like when they're told to do stuff, they don't do it. And then I know Højbjerg came out and said that, like, if you're going to start naming names, then like name them names. Don't just say one player. Like, if it's me, I want you to say me. If it's someone else, say someone else. But I mean, I think he's talking about mainly Richarlison, to be honest. But I don't think Conte is solely to blame. I think a lot of Spurs players have to take accountability though, because like it's not Conte's fault that Richarlison got 0 goals since he signed. It's not Conte's fault that Son has been crap the whole season. Like, it's not Conte's fault that Romero got himself sent off against AC Milan. Like, do you know what I mean? A lot of like even at the game at the Emirates, for example, when they played us, it's not Conte's fault that Emerson got himself sent off for under no sort of like pressure situation. So I think it's definitely accountability needs to be taken from both parties. But I don't know, it's a weird situation because the mood and the morale there is like rock bottom. It's like everyone from the fans to like the players to the manager to even, I assume, the board as well, are of the belief that like they need to blow the whole team up and rebuild and start from scratch, which is like in context it's kind of strange to think about because they're in a very similar position to what they were last year, like a very similar position. And it makes me think that like because like I know I've said this before, but because Spurs are so kind of reliant on what Arsenal do, if we were horrific this season and we were like, I don't know, like 6th or 7th, would these same like sentiments be like kind of held in the Spurs fan base, or would they be thinking, oh, Conte's right, like we need to get this Deadwoods out and give him what he wants? Because like they would be saying, oh, these same players haven't performed under 3 managers, let's get this guy the players that he wants. Like, he's only been here for a year and a half, so how can we expect him to be top of the league and stuff like that? So it's weird in context, but I mean, I think everyone knows they're going to start again. I mean, if they go with Nagelsmann, I think that's a good appointment. If not, I don't see many other great appointments. Like, I've heard Poch coming back being one. I don't know how that works. I don't really foresee him being as good as he was the first time. He might be good. He might win them something, but which, I mean, is fair enough. But I don't see him kind of bringing them to like title contention level again. And the other options just don't. The options that Spurs have don't look like top level options. Like, without disrespecting them, like I saw people saying like Ange Postecoglou from Celtic, Michael Carrick, and like these guys obviously are decent managers, but they're not top level elite gaffers, which is quite indicative of where Spurs are, to be honest.
Yeah, with the Conte situation, he just threw his whole team under the bus. Basically, he's not even the team. He threw the whole institution under the bus. This guy said, "Oh, 20 years I haven't won anything. Why do you think this has happened?" Basically said, like Dan said, they crumble under pressure. Coming out as a manager and saying that your team hate playing under pressure and they love an easy life. How do you come back from that? I don't understand.
Is he wrong though? Like, realistically, is he wrong?
He's 100% correct. 100% correct. But like, how do you come back from that?
But like, as a fan and as like an owner, would you not rather your manager, like, if you know that your players are serial bottle jobs and are not gonna win the big titles, would you rather him just kind of like lie to you and reassure you and say, oh, like we're turning a corner, or would you rather him say, hey, we need to clear these guys out?
But the thing is, it's like as a board, you've given them these guys. Like, we know that Conte and Daniel Levy don't have the best relationship. It's pretty fractured. It's a dig at the board. It's a dig at everyone except from the fans, obviously, because the fans are aware. Everyone's aware of what Tottenham is. Tottenham fans are aware of what Tottenham are. They can try and be deluded, but everyone knows what the club is. It's just the fact that he really stepped out and just threw. He didn't have to do it. It wasn't even instantly after the game. It was, the post-match where you sit down, then have all the reporters talking to you. That's when he decided to rip in into everyone. So maybe he let it marinate in his head and thought, nah, screw this. I'm going in on everyone. It's probably what happened. But it's a thing where now your players, the dressing room is going to be completely fractured. Like, I think I saw Højbjerg say something like, Conte needs to be more specific with who he's blaming.
Yeah.
Came out and said that. It's going to create a sick because of Kulusevski come out and said that he still wants to play for Conte. So they're going to be players that absolutely hate us, and there are going to be players that still want to fight for him, and it's just going to create a divide within the club. So, to the rest of us, it's to our advantage because obviously,
But like,
Spurs are in the top
but
four
like,
race.
is that not what the other managers have been praised for? Like Arteta and Ten Hag have both been praised for getting the troublemakers or the people not buying into the project out of the club.
But
like Aubameyang and Ronaldo
it's different.
Is it though? Because them two had massive
It's not the
influences in the
same.
dressing room. Ronaldo had like a whole clique, and Aubameyang was the captain.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the same. Conte's come out and just criticized the whole team. He hasn't picked out what did he say? What did he say about Richarlison? I don't know. I haven't seen that. But he's just come out and said he's not said Richarlison or Højbjerg or Oliver Skip. He said those players they don't play well under pressure.
To be honest,
he's not coming out as a single individual. He's going at the whole team.
To be honest, as bad as things got with like the Ronaldo Aubameyang thing, like I don't recall Ten Hag or even Arteta like coming to their press conference and actually bashing the players. Like everything they did, they handled it like, just underground. Which I kind of think is usually the best approach because you kind of, it kind of gives the vibe that if you're like publicly bashing your players and stuff like that, and even the other ones you're not bashing, they would also feel like it could be me, I could be next and stuff like that. So yeah, I think like if you're going to want to handle something like, but the thing is like he doesn't even he knows he's going at the end of the season. So to me, it just feels like he's just getting out all his cheap shots in before he goes. Because obviously if he was going to be here long term and if he had a plan, I think he would approach this a lot better. So he would like keep it under the wraps. He won't really bash them out publicly. He would kind of get rid of them low key, if that makes sense, rather than just coming out. But yeah, I feel like he knows he's gone in like 2 months or whatever, so he's just he's getting all the shots out, and he's also like giving a reason for why he wasn't successful. He's kind of like also talking to his doubters or whatever. And yeah, he's a very proud like person, as you can tell. So I'm sure he's just trying to more or less both save face and almost also just expose Spurs for like what they are, even though everybody already knows. But yeah.
Bro, the guy just wants to get paid, innit? If he gets sacked, they give him a severance package, innit? And then just wants to get paid, bro. I respect the hustle.
He goes his way.
He just gets paid, man.
Definitely, that's definitely an aspect.
And then also we also got deep like the quality of the teams that he's managed, like Chelsea, Juve, Inter, like Spurs, they're not doing how he likes them, innit? Like Conte's team don't give goals away.
I'm gonna be honest.
That's why I mean, like that's why I'm surprised Spurs fans are not more behind him in terms of like we know these players are crap. So like, why do we expect him to win the league with these players? Like really and truly, Spurs are exactly where people think they should be, in and around top 4. Like no one thinks that Spurs is good enough to win the title. No one thinks Spurs are good enough to come even third. Fourth is probably where they are. Like obviously they done in the cup competitions, they done badly. But I mean, again, that's Spurs. Who hasn't done badly in the cup competitions with Spurs?
The thing is, traditionally, Conte's been able to work magic with like teams that aren't particularly amazing on paper.
Like who?
That's who? Cap, bro.
When has he had a bad team? He's had good teams.
Wait, no, I'm not saying he's had bad teams, but he hasn't had the best team on paper. He's been in situations where he's had Victor teams, Moses and turned him into a right back.
He's had strong teams though.
Like
he's had good teams, but he like with the level of players squad like Spurs have at the moment, like he should be doing more with them. It's less.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
it's less.
Bro,
it's less ability.
We need to deep. Yeah, Juventus man had Pirlo, Pogba, Marquisio, Vidal. Who else was there? Tevez. Chelsea, he had Hazard, Costa, Fabregas, Kante, Inter Milan. Barella's a good midfielder. Lukaku. Who else did he have? I mean, Lautaro is not.
Bro, I'm talking about. I'm going to say the Inter Milan team on paper isn't that much better than the on paper.
But he was winning. He was winning the league. He was winning the league with this team. Like he was winning the league. We're not even asking him to win the league with this Spurs team. We're just like.
But can we not
at least they
acknowledge that
should be,
Serie A
at least they should be a comfortable.
I don't want to say it's less competitive, but I mean Serie A is not the Premier League.
Okay,
Yeah,
if
I
we're
understand that, but
judging it based on just,
The
if we're
Inter
judging
team
it based on just the
is better
PL,
than the Spurs team, though.
if we're judging it just based on PL alone, with that Chelsea squad that he had, is like the thing is everybody talks in hindsight basically. So like these players are more, they're hyped up a lot more because of what they accomplished with Conte.
yeah,
But a lot of these players were not like, even Victor Moses or Alonso or players like
right
that
back,
he was
yeah.
using in their back line.
But
Like
they weren't the main part of the team.
in that
They were the
I'll
main
give
part
it
of the
to
team.
him. In that, I'm not saying they're crap players. In that season they were very good, but the players he has right now, he should be able to do a lot more with them. And it shows it's less more about their ability. Like look at Son, it's less more about the ability and more mentality. Look at Richarlison. Why is Richarlison scoring 0 goals in a
Is that
FIFA?
Conte's fault though, or is that not the
No,
player's
it's not.
fault?
It's not.
These
It's,
men
it's
It's
are
not.
not. It's
that
not his
great.
fault.
It's not
It's
his
the
fault.
club.
Like 0. Do you know what 0 goals are? Like
That's what I mean.
like,
Like,
you didn't even bag
how
one.
are
Like
you expected to work with a
like
bum
you
like
cannot
that?
attach 0 goals to a manager's fault. There is no way you should be a forward player and getting a couple games in, and you can at least score a single goal in the league. Son won the Golden Boot last season. Where is he now? Conte hasn't really changed much structurally. Like Kane is still Kane. Kane still feeds in the ball to Son the same way they were doing. Their dynamic, and Son just isn't scoring goals. I think Spurs have a good midfield. I don't know why they're not playing up to standard. They have probably one of the best strikers, if
It's
not the
not that
best
good,
in the
man.
world.
It's not. That team's not that good. It's not that
Yeah,
Like
I think their midfield and their defense is shocking.
No,
I'm not gonna lie to
you
you.
know what it is. You know what it is. I feel like because we've watched them play, everyone's saying, "Oh, their team isn't good." At the beginning of the season, when we looked at Spurs' squad, it was a good squad.
yeah,
It
that's what I'm
wasn't a
saying.
bad.
I never co-signed them.
But
It's all
let's-
like I'm
let's
saying.
be real.
Football is all hindsight. Like I saw there were a lot, like people like looked at the Spurs team on paper, and a lot of people thought that it was decent, at least decent enough to not be as bad as they are right now.
But what's that? No, but when we looked at Spurs at the beginning of the season, what did everyone say was where they were going to finish? 4th.
People were saying third, fourth.
People said 4th over Chelsea. I don't remember that.
I saw a lot of good.
People were saying
Nah, I
fourth,
thought
third and fourth.
I saw a lot of shocking takes
Fourth.
actually. I
Most
saw a
people,
lot of
some people
shocking
thought they were
takes.
going to win the league.
I saw some people say that. I saw some people say that.
then I think that's more.
There were some
But
people
then-
saying they were going to win the league. They were.
I think that's
On
more of an
paper,
egregious.
But they were going to
shout.
challenge.
They
They were
had
going
a
to
good
challenge.
window.
People say they
No,
were
they're saying they're going to
challenge,
challenge. They're saying
I
not
saw
win, but challenge.
Yeah.
people swore they'll finish above Arsenal as well too. That didn't
Yeah,
seem
but
like
no one could have predicted Arsenal being this good. Like I thought,
Yeah,
I didn't
but-
think Arsenal were going to be this good.
True. But like in terms of Spurs being where they are right now, I don't know. To me, it's kind of like they probably should just be doing a tad bit better. But all things considered, they're still just a couple points off, top 4. All things considered, it's not the worst season. But again, like Dan said, Spurs, they judge their success based on Arsenal. And also, they just once they just start losing a couple games, once there's just a negative aura, they just become very. And obviously another season where they know they're not winning a trophy. So yeah, everything just kind of goes downhill, and it's always the same time with Spurs when they know they're out of all the competitions. And yeah, that's when the same thing comes up every single season. It's but yeah, I don't know. Like Spurs are definitely the problem. I think everybody knows that. Like the thing is that the players are also just comfortable with having that mentality of not. It's kind of like you have lower expectations, so you don't really need to meet certain standards. The reason why when we were, where we were 6th or 7th and stuff, like why there was so much media outrage is because of the standard we have as a club. When United aren't playing well as well too, because people know that's United, that's Arsenal, that's these type of clubs, that's Liverpool even this season, why there's such a big. But Spurs is kind of like, the players are comfortable just being where they are. Really, it's kind of like when you play for the club. Even to some extent, I also see PSG like that in some way. Like not obviously PSG have expectations, but in the sense where like the club hasn't won the Champions League. The players feel comfortable. They don't really feel like they're attached to the it's a club of like very high value, so to say. All respect to PSG and stuff, but like if someone is playing for PSG and if someone is playing for Real Madrid, like the amount of effort they will put in, or the amount of passion, love, and desire will be completely different because Real Madrid is a more successful, historical, bigger club, so to say, and they have way more expectations. So I think Spurs players are just way too comfortable. They need a new manager, new sets of players, new ideas, give them a whole new meaning, and kind of like break that, psychological barrier or whatever that the club has. But yeah.
I think it's board. I think it comes from the board. I'll be honest with you. I think the board and the owners, because Daniel Levy, he's ambitious, and like you can see that he's ambitious when because even when when Mourinho left, like you can see the managers he went for. Conte was the first one. That's an ambitious appointment for a club of Spurs level. And then you look at the players they tried to sign in the summer. Like they tried to sign not last summer, the summer before, but they tried to sign Skriniar, they tried to sign Pau Torres, they tried to sign Koundé. Like they're very ambitious transfers, and it's good that he shows this ambition. But I feel like he rests on his laurels. So he does one thing good, and then he's like, "Oh, that's fine. Like I don't need to do anything more. I hired Conte. That's fine. He'll do the rest for me. Like I've already kind of done the hard yards. I don't need to." When in reality, it's quite the opposite. Especially if you want to compete in the Premier League, you can't just hire a good manager. Like you have to consistently back the manager. You have to consistently make good recruitment choices. You have to be very active with your squad and who's good enough and who's not good enough. And you have to maintain standards. And they just haven't, realistically. There's no standards at Spurs. They got Champions League last year and they celebrated Champions League more than I've ever seen that club celebrate anything. And that kind of tells you everything that you need to know about Spurs. That like to them, top four is fine. That's the standard because
from OT's iPhone.
They're just overachieving by their identity. Like realistically, Spurs are not on the level of the rest of the Big Six. Like we've said this multiple times. So for them to even be competing with the Big Six, and like to get fourth means that they're above two of the Big Six. So for them to be like better than two of clubs that are bigger than them, they see that as a win and they see it as success. And I think if they want to win something, they need to change that ASAP.
Just looking at it from the short term,
Yeah.
Like I always say, player quality is the most important thing. I know people like to talk about managers, but the quality of your players is the most important thing, and you have to have the managers to supplement that. Spurs have a great manager in Conte. The quality of the team isn't that good. They have Kane. Kane's the only guy I can say, you know what, that's a quality player.
Kane could have said human song from free and you're telling me the quality is not good.
I don't care about Son. I've never cared about that guy. Kulusevski, he's a good footballer. They do have some good footballers.
But the difference is good and elite, though.
We can't sit down and say they have a bad team. They don't.
Is Kulusevski
they don't have
elite,
a bad
though?
squad. Like this is a myth.
Is Kulusevski elite?
There was a point in time where people were saying he was the best, one of the best right wingers.
But Kulusevski is good enough, though.
After 8 games.
No, but if you want to carry on, Kulusevski is good enough. I will admit.
Like, yeah, that's what I mean. But he's not like an elite level player. He's not Harry Kane.
But how many teams have
Spurs have arguably the best front three in the league.
Spurs.
Exactly.
On paper,
they
but
do.
like the way
on paper, it also translates to real life to some extent.
Yeah, bro, it's only Kane, bro. It's only Kane. I've said for times.
Let's break this down. Let's look at the top four.
Remember when I was saying Saka's better than Son? Remember when I was saying that I'll take Saka over Son any day.
Okay, let's look at left wingers. Who's the best left winger in the league?
In the league,
at the moment, probably Rashford.
It's probably Rashford to me. Yeah. So if it's Rashford,
who are the left wing options?
Rashford, Martinelli.
Grealish,
I don't know if you want to include Grealish because he plays there.
Son is probably the second. Son is probably the second best in the league,
That's
and maybe
stinky,
sometimes
man.
the best on his day. Sorry.
It's stinky, bro. How are we saying Rashford, Martinelli? Is that it?
Bro, what?
Anybody else?
What do you expect?
What are you trying to say? Like
Josh,
players are almost on 20 PL goals this season. Just because you don't like
where's the quality, bro?
Yeah. I don't know why people just because you don't like the caliber.
You want us to include Mudryk in the conversation or something? Like, allow it.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly.
No, I'm not even saying
I
that.
don't
But
get what
where's
you're
the
trying to
quality?
say.
Like,
People love to complain about like the new gen of like, and it's nostalgia that's killing nostalgia is killing
no, there's
everyone.
not.
Like,
No, but the players you
people
mentioned,
nostalgia,
there's
like,
not a
why you
single
say
one of
like
them that's world
these
class.
players
Though.
are performing at top levels now, so why can't you like respect them?
Wait,
for
so
what they're doing
you're
right
telling me no that Josh, wait, hold on. Josh, you're telling me there's no world class left wingers in the Prem.
The ones that you mentioned, they're not, bro.
You don't think Rashford's world
So
class?
you're telling me there's no
Rashford is world class.
world class.
You don't think
No.
Rashford is world class?
Have you
No.
been watching football this
I think
season,
he is.
or you just been
That's
sleeping?
poor. That's poor. That's
I
a
think
poor.
world
Rashford
class.
is
That's a
Have you
poor
been
take. That's a
watching
poor take.
Rashford this season,
That's a
or
poor
He's not
no?
world class, bro. He's not world class, bro.
Based on
You're
what
a
basis
hater.
is he not
You're
world
a
class?
hater.
Please.
Bro,
Explain
man
to
just
me.
had what? A good.
Josh.
He had a good.
Asking
He's
you
had
a
a good
question now.
3-4 months.
Asking you a
I
question now. Who's
respect
the
it.
top five?
He's not world
Give
class.
me,
No, but he
Josh,
had
give
a
me your
season where
top
he banged
five.
like 20
Josh,
goals
give me your
before.
top five left wingers in the world.
I don't have them. I don't know them. That's
Why
why I'm
you don't?
asking.
You watch football like all of us. Like list.
No, I'm asking you, and from what I'm hearing from the options that you're
in
giving
the
me,
world. I'm just asking in the world. Think about your top five best left wingers.
I don't know any, bro. I don't know them
Vinicius is
anymore.
Don't know
Vinicius
any.
is up there.
So Rashford,
The best player in the world plays on the left wing, bro.
so
The
Rashford
best
is
player
in
in
the
the world
top five.
plays on the left
Mbappe's a
wing,
left
bro.
winger. Yeah, no, Mbappe. Yeah,
Yes.
Mbappe's
So
fine.
if we put Mbappe
Okay,
number
we got
one,
Mbappe.
Mbappe.
let's
I'd say
put Vinicius number two.
Vinicius has been underperforming this season.
Even to me,
Exactly.
that's even
I think
but
Rashford.
let's even to me that's a reach. But let's put him number two. Let's put. I mean,
Skelia.
that I was thinking about him, but like, you know,
He's not really a
performed
traditional
one
left winger. I
season,
look at
so
him
like
as like
he
as
hasn't even performed the full
free
season
runner.
in the
Average
top five league. So, you know, I'll give him benefit of the doubt, but you know, like to me, based on what Rashford has accomplished and what he's done, like Rashford is easily in the top five left wingers in the world. Like, I don't know how
easily.
easily, yeah.
No,
I don't know.
It's not a very top quality, bro.
And even if it's not top five, even if it's
You
not
might
top
not like the
five,
quality,
even if it's not
but,
top
like,
five,
you have to
top
just
six,
assess
at
the
least top
quality that's
seven. And to me,
available, do you know
if
what I
you're
mean?
top six, top seven in your position, you're definitely world class. Even if you're top 10, you should be like, if you're top 10 in your position, you should be world class because that would say like,
I ain't put Rashford to world class, man.
Bro,
And who's the other done? You said
Josh,
That's your
stop
opinion.
Well, we're
being
saying
a hater,
Martinelli
bro.
as well.
Watch. Proof is in the
Martinelli
pudding,
this
bro.
season
Like,
has
no,
definitely
like-
performed at a high level, without a question.
Well, we're
Have
saying
you-
I
Martinelli
don't know why.
world class as well.
I don't know why.
He's not
Like
world class.
you're like it's so tough for you to give away the world class tag. Like it's some like elite. Like if that's the case, then maybe there are only three
I
world
want
class.
everyone to be a
players.
hazard region.
If we're that picky with world,
Bro.
then maybe there are only 5, maybe there are only 10, maybe there are only 10 world class players in the world. Then if that's how like strict you want to get, because
Probably only is, man. Probably only is, man. So,
maybe there is then. Maybe there is.
I disagree. Bro, like these men are doing all. We can't rub up Prem wingers. Even look at the World Cup. Look at what Rashford was doing. Look what Saka was doing. Like, look what certain men are doing on the world stage.
and
Where
it's
all the
so-
best players are
it's
competing.
not world class, by the way.
It's so funny that like when other players in other leagues start performing well, everybody starts going, "Oh, they're so world class. They're so world class."
Bro,
But when we see what's happening in our league, we just rub it out. I don't know why. Maybe because you watch the league in and out, so you feel like you don't really see what the hype is all about. But these players, maybe you don't watch, like I don't watch Serie A, I don't watch La Liga as much as I watch Premier League, of course. And I think that's the same with a lot of Premier League fans, which is why I feel like they disregard players in the league more than they do with other players, Even Leao, like, the way everybody hyped up Leao, so like Leao is not better than Rashford. No, he's not. But with the general consensus, everyone will act like he is. Maybe because he plays in different league. Maybe
his rivalries as well.
Hype around his name or stuff like
Yeah,
that.
tribalism.
Like realistically, no one in the Prem has beef with Napoli or AC Milan fans, so it's very
easy.
to give them
So they hype up their players to the maximum. Yeah, but like people have rivalries and stuff like that. So Arsenal fans will bring down Rashford. Chelsea fans will bring down Rashford. Stuff like that. So and the Prem is so hell bent on this rivalry. Like it's just very.
The Serie A ones are jokes as well, because if you look at Serie A, especially historically, them players, I can't remember who I saw do this, but they were talking about Osimhen, who's a player that I rate. Firstly.
Yeah.
They were saying like if you look at the top scorers in the Serie A on the past 10 seasons, apart from Ronaldo, none of them would really make it in the Prem. Like we've seen, there was like, so Immobile was the top scorer for like 3 seasons. A 33-year-old Edin Dzeko was the top scorer.
Yeah, no,
Lukaku was the top scorer one season, I think. Before that, I can't even remember.
You can't rub out Lukaku, though. You can't rub out Lukaku.
Yeah.
You can't rub out Lukaku.
I'll give it to Lukaku.
That's what I mean.
Lukaku was not bad.
Lukaku
Lukaku is not bad.
The guy has
Bro,
more
I'm
goals
not
than
saying,
Drogba.
bro. Listen.
Are you a plonker?
Listen.
He has more
I'm
goals
not,
than
bro.
Drogba.
Listen. I'm not saying
Well,
Lukaku's
Drogba,
like.
that's for
I'm
another
not
day.
He
trying to
has
rub out
more
his
goals
thing.
than Lukaku,
But,
Drogba,
bro,
and you're saying he did nothing in the
bro.
Prem. Are you a plonker?
Bro, are you seriously trying to tell me
what did
that
Lukaku do in
the
the
Inter
Prem, bro?
Lukaku was the same as the
You're trying to tell me
Lukaku we
Lukaku
saw
did
for
something.
Chelsea? Is it
Huh?
the same? Are you trying to tell us that the Inter Lukaku was the same Lukaku for Chelsea?
No, he underperformed at Chelsea, bro. But you can't say he did nothing.
Underperformed
That's
at
a
United.
But
rubbish
who was he
statement.
doing it for though?
Bro, the
West
proof
Brom
is
and
in the pudding.
Everton.
Bro, the guy scored 100 Premier League goals. He
For
scored
West
over
Brom and
100 Premier
Everton.
League goals.
Bro, he was in the Prem. When did he get in the Prem, bro?
Hasn't
Bro,
Son
Peter
almost
Crouch has 100 goals.
Hasn't Son almost say 100 or 100, and you're rubbing him out like this? I don't get it. Why?
No, but I'm
why
saying
I'm
that,
pretty
like,
sure, bro.
I'm pretty sure Son is 100, if not like around the 100.
What? I never said Son hasn't done nothing in the Prem. I just said to the level people
but
talk about
no,
Son.
but I'm not
he's
saying
not
that like
good.
doing nothing.
You
I'm
know
saying
what?
that they
You know what?
wouldn't
Like
be.
there
They
is
wouldn't
like
be the best
Dan,
player.
back to your Serie A point. Yeah, like
But they wouldn't be the best player by
Definitely.
easily. There'd be loads of players better than him.
Definitely, I know to sound like a Prem fanatic, but you definitely have to look at other leagues with a bit of a shadow of doubt. You know,
Definitely.
like especially Bundesliga. Oh God, I hate that.
Bro,
league
Chris
so much.
Smalling still starts every week for Roma. Would he start in the Prem for any top 7 side?
He wouldn't.
Maybe I don't know.
The thing is, like, and like players that come like to the league, they always just say, yeah, like the level is so much higher, which is why I just do not get it. When players perform in the league, people still rub them out when comparing them to like other players in the league. Like, there's no way why you should not be able to put Rashford, in a conversation with, even Vinicius or stuff like that. Like why not? Like Rashford is a very top, he's had very good seasons in this league, maybe only 1 or 2 seasons, even maybe one that he's really underperformed. Like, I don't know. Like if Rashford is not world class, then to me, the only world class left winger is Mbappe, then, in my opinion.
Vinicius, to be fair, Vinicius
Rashford is someone that he should die on the hill for about world class, man.
No, but Vinicius, the only thing I would say he has here is that he has performed like at the highest of highest. Like, he's
Oh yeah.
That's the only thing.
Champions League. Yeah. That's why.
Even you're saying Vinicius only had 1 good season, which was last season. So he's not like
having
he's
a good
done.
season. He's having a
He's like 22, bro. Do you expect him to have 10 years worth of work?
It's not like he has a mad
Okay,
pedigree
if that's
of
the
like.
case, the case, then just say that there's only one left winger that's world class, and then is that what you basically want to say?
I mean, we can only.
And that means you're basically saying that unless anybody reaches Mbappe's level, you can't see them as world class, and that is a ridiculous level to put at. But if that's the case, then cool.
That's the top level. He's the best player in the world.
No, you don't have to necessarily reach his level, but there's a level of consistency.
That is elite.
Wait. There's a level of consistency. You have to do these things to be seen as one of the best players in the world. It's not something that you have 4 good months and then we're saying, oh, is he world class and stuff like that.
4 good months, but you've seen Rash, bro. Like, come on now, let's not.
But bro, you're looking at it.
Name Rashford's world class seasons. Tell me.
Under Oli, I think he bagged like 20 goals in the league.
Yeah,
exactly.
He had
20 plus.
Rashford is also how old is Rashford? 25.
25.
Bro. I asked you, man. Name me the seasons, please.
Calm. Let me
list the actual seasons. I don't know. Let's
the seasons. Okay, the only season. That
so 19-20, he got 18 goals in the league and 7 assists.
19-20.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
This season is already one.
That's very good.
And then this season's
nuts.
And he's 25.
Last season
by the way.
was
He's not 30. He's 25.
And he's been playing in the league since he broke out.
So you'd expect
he's only had 1 good season. Pretty much.
And this one so far.
Not at least 3.
This one.
So yeah, 25 as well.
But for someone who's 20, but bro, for someone who's 25, what was Luka Modric doing at 25, bro?
18-19 was
he was still good there for
18-19.
Was he world class?
Obviously, he hadn't reached the high level yet until he went to Madrid, innit?
There we go. No, everyone says Fabregas.
How old was Rashford? How was Rashford in the 18-19 season? Maybe 21, 22?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good season. He had 10 goals and 6 assists.
Yeah.
But we're not claiming that as world class, though. Come on, man.
We're not saying it's world class, but it's a trajectory, bro.
21 or something. That's like,
bro. We're talking about world class. We're talking about upper echelon.
What we're talking about now, Josh.
Brother, if
That's
you
what I'm talking
if
about
you want
now.
us to start
Well,
pulling up,
yeah, we are talking about now. That's another thing.
if you
as
want
well.
us to start pulling up stats about some of your favorite players, bro, it's gonna be long. Because if I start pulling up
It's a
stats
very
about
them up,
something
man.
like
Pull them
Zidane,
up.
then
You're
people
gonna
are
call,
gonna
you're
get
gonna
mad.
call, you're gonna call Drogba world class, but if we start picking out his
Bro,
season,
if you
then
want to call Drogba world class,
it's going to be a
Pull
very,
them up, man.
very
Pull
cool.
them up.
bro,
Some scary
people are
seasons
gonna
that
get angry,
Drogba was
bro.
putting up.
When we say that
Scary
Paul Gascoigne
numbers.
was basically leak out more, people are not gonna be happy.
You can pull them up, man. You can pull them up.
Kind of like
But
overall,
these
it's
men
like
have certified. They've led their
it's like
teams to
how many
wait,
world class,
Josh,
I'm
how many
saying.
world
let me
class
ask you-
seasons,
wait,
how many
Josh,
world class
let me ask
seasons,
you.
like someone like how many world class seasons did Vardy have?
No, I got a better
One.
one. I got a better one.
One or two.
When he was in the
Maybe one
when
or
he was
two,
in the
yeah.
Prem,
But in
When
that
he was in the
moment when he was, Vardy was world class, and you can't tell me otherwise.
what about Leroy Sané? How many world class seasons in the Prem did Leroy Sané have?
One proper world class one,
Yeah,
maybe
one.
two at a stretch.
But I
Which
never
season?
pushed them as world class though.
Okay, that's the thing. That's the thing
Josh,
about. That's the thing about.
Hold on,
That's the
wait.
thing
He
Sorry,
never
about-
I'm
scored
sorry.
more than
Sorry, I'm
10
sorry.
goals, by the way.
Josh
Never
will
scored
never
more than
say.
10.
Josh will never say
Josh.
who. Josh will never say who he calls world class. So we will never actually know what to judge his criteria on. He'll just be like,
Hazard.
"Oh, that player is not world class. That player is not world class." So who is world class, Josh? Tell us.
Wait, I'm sorry.
I'll tell you.
Quickly, Josh, you're telling me Centurion Leroy Sané was not world class? Is that what you're telling me?
No, he played at a top level, but it's consistency, innit? I've always said 2 seasons
Bro,
playing at a top level,
This guy
and
was
then you're
literally
world
one of
class,
the
innit?
like.
Right, he played
Oh
at the
my
same level
gosh.
2 seasons in a row,
Bro.
more or less.
Bro, the guy was insane. Like literally, if your defender was coming up against him, you're pooping
The
yourself, bro.
Centurion season, he had 10
Come on,
goals,
man.
15 assists. And the season after, he had 10 goals, 10 assists. It's not that much of a discrepancy.
No,
And even if you talk about...
I put the
even
Centurion
when
one
he was playing was very similar.
top, but I wouldn't say he was like continuously in it. So I never put him as a world class player. But like the quality that he had was a top.
I'll be honest, I thought he was world class, man. That time,
He was
I thought
definitely world class. He was
him
insane.
and Sterling were world class.
Sterling, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Sterling was one I forgot. Man,
okay, yeah.
Now,
Yeah, Sterling. Yeah. Yeah, no, Sterling's not. He's not top 5 wingers in the world. In the league, even at the moment.
At the
weird how,
moment,
like,
yeah.
people judge it because like people
At the moment.
will talk about more than just this season. Whereas like when you compare different sports, like if you talk about the NBA, for example, they only talk about this season. Like they don't factor in any season before. They only say this season. And like if we really want to do that in football, the narrative will be totally, totally different about who's better than who. And it might be more accurate in terms of like who's better right now, but I don't know how accurate it is in terms of like who's going to be better or who has been better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's just being able to be balanced, really. I think it's just being able to be balanced now.
But how far do you go back then?
Like I'm not gonna say Son is a bad player now because he hasn't, like stuff like that. But some people are like very reactionary based on like what is happening in the moment, which I think is a bit too extreme. But I can understand like, balancing it out in terms of like, this player is not that good at the moment, stuff like that. But you still have to have like a general scaling of kind of like how, to me, like how I always see it is like, and I know it's a very like niche way of thinking, but like I always say like if a player has done something, to me, I feel like they are capable of doing that. So maybe you just have to get the circumstances right, or they have to get the circumstances right to be able to like achieve that. Maybe it's a very optimistic way of thinking, really. But like, yeah, I always just think if a player has done something before, like they don't just lose their ability, maybe they do, but I think, unless it has something to do with fitness, unless it has something to do with like, personal thing that's going on in their life, stuff like that. But, if a player is able to do something, to me, I don't think they just lose it like that. It's probably just circumstances around, what's happening at that very moment. Like someone like Son now, but yeah.
Wait, is Son world class?
At the
I
moment,
think
no.
at one point he probably was. But I don't
Probably,
think he was
he
world
probably
class for now.
was.
So you man just switch. So when they're on form, you say they're world class, innit? And when they're off, is like they're no longer in it, basically.
What
No,
is
but
form?
Son
What
was-
is form?
was-
That's the thing. What
But
is form?
No, but
Yeah,
for 2 years,
Son
under
was on great
Mourinho
form,
and
so he said he
Conte-
was world class, innit? Now he's
under
off form.
Mourinho and
You're saying
Conte,
he's
he
not.
was
A whole
definitely-
season, okay. I'll be so real, Josh. A whole season is not form, in my opinion. That's how I'll be so honest. I don't think maybe like a couple months you can say form. A whole season is not form. That's a
Yeah,
level
but
of
Rashford's
Bro,
sustain
Josh,
throughout
yeah,
a
but
whole
Josh,
Rashford's
season.
form has been since the World Cup, though.
yeah,
Post World Cup,
Bro,
Rashford was
Josh,
the
you
most.
said
this is a
Josh,
myth.
Josh.
This is another myth, bro. Rashford was doing
He's
well
not,
before
bro.
the World Cup. He was, because if he was whack, he wouldn't have got into the squad. He was playing well before the World Cup even started, bro. Like, obviously, since the World Cup, he's reached another level, but he was playing at a good level before the World Cup even before the tournament started. So this myth that Rashford only started like playing well since the World Cup, it's not true. He was playing well before anyway, and obviously, as he's finally well. In my opinion, this is the first time he's had like a proper
Is
quote.
Sterling world class?
Yes.
Yeah,
Based on what he's done in the
Sterling has
past, we have to say
Hey,
it's world
Josh,
class.
Josh,
Yeah.
you talk about
Yeah,
two
yeah.
seasons. Son's last season where he bagged 23 goals, and then the season under Mourinho. They're two elite seasons that he's had.
Very
Elite.
seasons.
Under
Bro,
Mourinho,
Son is
he had
world class.
he had
As much as
17
I'm
goals.
not,
under
as much
Mourinho.
as I'm not his biggest
Yeah,
fan.
under Mourinho, Son
that,
and Kane were cooking. Under Mourinho,
Let
they
me
were
see.
cooking.
2020,
What season was
21, he had
Mourinho?
17 goals, 10
Huh?
assists. Bro.
Mourinho was 2021.
2020, 2021, he had 17 goals and 10 assists.
10
That's
assists.
top
That's
tier.
better. That's a better GA than any Sane season, by
In
the way. I'm
2019,
not saying that he's better than him, but
2020, he had 11 goals, 10 assists. That's kind of like what Saka has right now. So that's a good, and that was 30 appearances. That's a good season. 18-19, he had 12 goals, and bro, he scored over 10 goals in probably every season. He's definitely a world-class player.
it's them 2 seasons for me which confirmed it. To get 17 goals and then 23, bro, come on.
Nah, I rate this last season. I'll give him his last season where he got over
Bro,
20.
Son came in.
I respect that.
And the Mourinho one where he got 17 goals and 10 assists. Come on,
I
bro.
remember. No, that
Okay,
was
yeah,
a
so
mad purple patch, though.
Son's first
That was a mad
season,
purple
yeah, he
patch.
got like 4 goals. Then after that, every season after that, he's gotten over 11 goals, including one with 17, including one with 22. Yeah, I'll say those last 2 seasons that he did, like, yeah, I would say he is world class.
Nah, I think under Mourinho he had a mad purple patch.
Plus, he was
So he
cooking
didn't.
in
He wasn't playing that
he was
well.
cooking
But
in Champions
he
League as
scored
well.
mad towards the end. Let me see.
Under Poch that season when they got to he had a couple very significant goals.
Oh, so he bagged 4 against Southampton. Okay. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad.
No, I remember under Mourinho, him and Kane, it's like they found a new level, but I think he found a new level. I think Kane was just playing it. He just adapted his game a little bit. That's when he started like this whole false 9 arc.
No, I'm not.
At the end of the day, this whole like world class tag thing is all very, objective.
It's too subjective, man.
It's too, yeah. Like Son is a good player. Everybody knows he is. Like everybody will take Son in their team, basically. Like let's just accept that. And
You know what? At the moment,
I
wouldn't. I'm taking number 10.
Whether at the moment or not,
Taking
if you got offered Son
I'm
for
taking the
like
guy
a
who
very
feeds the
good
kids.
season, everybody would take him. If he was offered like,
I'll take him as a backup. Yeah.
Still take him. But yeah.
Well, I'll take him. I'll slap him in the 9. I'll take him over Weghorst 100%.
Weghorst is pants, bro.
But yeah, I feel like we've discussed this topic long enough, to be honest. Yeah. Well, we can move on to United even quickly, briefly, because it's all cat and mouse with this whole United takeover talk. It's a mess, to be honest, in my opinion. Anyway, because of you got one source saying this, one source saying that. Oh, like it's all a big fat mess, and it represents the club and the club under the Glazers. But obviously, you have 2 serious builders in Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim. I personally feel like if there is going to be a takeover, it will be the Qataris. I'll say it right now. I want the Qataris in. But the Glazers, they're moving a bit stingy with it. They want 6 billion, which is it's so stupid. United is valued at like, I think it's like 3 billion or 4 billion, like pushing it 4 billion maybe. They're valued around that, and these guys want 6 billion for the club, which is a bit ridiculous in my opinion. But obviously, it follows the pattern of what they've been like for the past 17 years. what does a potential takeover look like for Man United? And I haven't really heard rival fans' perspectives. I've heard a lot of United fans speaking about it. Mainly because I'll be completely honest, I don't really care what rival fans have to say about it. But we're here for a constructive conversation. So yeah, what do you guys think about a potential takeover of United?
I don't know, to be honest. Like firstly, he needs to go through. I mean, the Glazers. I see him like them moving weird. Like, I saw them.
Yeah,
One report said that if they don't meet their valuation, they'll only sell minority share, which that changes literally nothing. Like if they sell a minority share, it might even get worse because like no one's gonna. If you own a minority share, you're not gonna be pumping in billions and billions to something you don't own the majority of. So I mean, I assume it's just negotiations though. I reckon someone will pay the £6 billion valuation, which is crazy because I just googled it a second ago. Chelsea was sold for 4 billion, so to think Man United is 2 billion pounds more valuable is mad. I don't know, man. I think the most important thing from takeover will be like displacing people in the board and people in positions that have like basically messed around for the past 10 years, and like you can see it from Newcastle because like they've not really changed too much, but they've changed like their backroom staff, and it's made like a big difference to their on pitch and results. Because like a lot of their team is basically leftovers from the Steve Bruce era. They've got a couple of kind of players they brought in which have helped a lot, and a good manager which has sped up the process. But Man United have already got good players, so if they get people in the kind of the board and the backroom and like the scouting level, it'd be very interesting to see what level they get to and how quickly they can do it.
Okay. Josh, what do you think about a potential takeover? Yeah,
Takeover United. I ain't been looking at it really and truly. Get your money in it. Get your money, spend it. Yeah, look after yourself, innit? You're not the ones.
It's not even completely about money, to be honest. In my opinion, I feel like it's more about infrastructure. Like Dan was saying, the stadium as well has been a massive issue. We
Carrington.
Yeah, and Carrington. It's the facilities as well. We're way behind. Even Ronaldo. I didn't like the Ronaldo interview with Piers Morgan, but he did expose that since he left the club in 2009. Yeah, since he left the club in 2009, he came back in what 2021? He come out? Yeah. Like in that span of time, nothing had changed in terms of infrastructure and facilities. And you have teams like Leicester Leicester have a really good training ground. You have teams like Tottenham building new stadiums. Everton are going to build a new stadium. You're meant to be the biggest club in England on paper, and it's not really adding up. It's not really equating. You've been completely sucked dry by the Glazers. They don't really give a toss about anything to do with United. They're just there to milk us for our money, and I'm happy at the prospect of us possibly getting new ownership, but at the same time, it feels like to me it might be too good to be true. We'll see what happens. We do have very serious people bidding for the club. We'll see where it takes us. But it's just the excitement of getting out of an era in which the owners, they just see the club as a machine for profit. Obviously, most owners see that, but it would be nice to have owners that actually care about the club and actually want the club to win trophies. Because as long as the Glazers turn over, as long as they make a profit and they turn over a decent amount, they don't really care whether we win trophies or not. Even we saw in the previous window, because of the potential sale, they didn't bother giving Ten Hag any signings, permanent signings anyway. Managed to get Sabitzer, but that was because Ericsson was injured on loan, and the Weghorst still he's working with hands behind his back, like his hands tied behind his back, basically. Imagine what United would be doing this season if we actually had a competent striker. We probably wouldn't be in a top 4 battle. We'd probably be comfortably third at least, maybe with a bit more points. But it just goes down to the ownership. And Richard Arnold as well is way too comfortable. John Murtaugh, terrible negotiation tactics, chasing the young summer.
Murtaugh madness.
It's just nonsense. Like flying to Barcelona to chat with De Jong and his family or whatever, or chat to Barcelona officials when you know the guy doesn't want to leave Barcelona. Like wasting a whole summer chasing a player, and then the summer ends, and now you're chasing other players. It's a mess, and it will just be. I'm sure every single United fan will just wants it to end. To be honest, But yeah, I don't want to get too passionate about it because this is
But like
this
the
isn't the United
facilities
stand.
thing though, but I do want to ask. I do want to ask about the facilities because like
Yeah.
we've seen Spurs, Everton, and Leicester recently invest heavily in facilities, and all of them have dropped like a level. Like, and even you saw Arsenal when we moved to our new stadium, the level dropped. Like, would you be willing to kind of take a bit of a dip in terms of on-pitch results for them facilities to be upgraded, or do you not think it's like kind of irrelevant because of how much funds Man United have?
I feel like with Man United, it's kind of it's not the same situation in a sense. Financially, we make the most money in the Prem. We have the biggest global. We have a global fan. We're probably like top 3 biggest fan bases in the world, arguably. It's not really the same situation as a Everton or a Leicester or a
But Spurs is
Spurs.
kind of similar though, and they're I don't know, the stadium.
I don't think it's the
they're
same
not
thing.
doing-
Well,
yeah, to
we
be fair,
never
'cause you're
know.
not buying a new stadium. To be fair, it's true.
Yeah. We're
I
building it from the
well,
ground
I
up.
assume so anyway.
But
I
we'll
thought
see.
it was just a renovation thing.
It depends on the ownership, to be honest. I feel like if the Qataris do come in, they're gonna build a new stadium, but they're worth like hundreds of billions. Well, the family in itself is worth hundreds of billions, so it's not really gonna be a problem for them. It's not
It's
gonna
true,
be
but
an issue
like
where it's gonna.
FFP, I mean, FFP is gonna like. That's one of them things where like Everton, like that's what's crippled Everton right now because they spent so much on the stadium. They're struggling, and if they get relegated in the Championship, they're finished.
Yeah, but the thing is with FFP, I think with the new regulations by UEFA, it's based on how much the club makes, and it's a certain percentage of what the club makes is what they can spend on transfers. But if you increase the stadium, that increases the amount we'll be able to spend on transfers anyway, because it will be making more money. Like, say if we increase the capacity of Old Trafford from like 75,000 to like 90,000, you're making a lot more money per year, and it gives you a lot more leeway to be spending on players. So FFP, if we get like owners who are willing to invest, I don't think FFP is going to be an issue. It's an issue now because of we're not performing well on the pitch for one, and two, it's just the feeling around the club. It's not really where it should be. So if like we go into the summer with the Glazers in charge, we're not really going to be able to spend as much as we would like. But if we do have new owners, obviously this season it's not going to be a crazy amount spent. I don't really want it to be like that, to be honest. I feel like with what we've heard from Sheikh Jassim and his team, they said they want to really look at like buying young players and investing in the youth academies, also the women's team as well. So it's a thing where they're not going to really be doing a PSG thing where they're buying like Messi and Mbappe and Neymar. Because
that sounds like
the
good
fans are going
PR,
to...
Yeah,
but all that stuff. It sounds good, but I feel like they'll do it because the proof is in the pudding. With PSG, you tried to do copy Real Madrid, do the Galactico thing.
You're trying to do what Abramovich done, innit? With the youth team and the women's team. Because like Chelsea's academy and Chelsea's women's team right now are like top. Yeah.
So you have to, with the Qataris or whoever ends up buying Manchester United, even if we do get bought, you're gonna have to look at where other owners have made mistakes. For example, is it QIA who owns Qatari Investment Authority that owns PSG? Whoever it is, just basically look at what they're doing and say, no, we're not going to do that, because you can't just chuck a bunch of names in a team and think that it's going to bang. It's not going to bang. And it's a thing. It's just I don't know. There's a lot that we don't know still. There's a lot still to find out. We don't even know if the club's going to get sold. They might just take investment money because the Elliott Investment Group, they're offering to buy a stake in the club and finance the redevelopment of Old Trafford. So it might just be that. I pray to God it's not, because we all want the Glazers out. Anything that gets the Glazers out, that's what we want. I've seen some, I can't lie, I've even seen some weird stuff. I think I was talking about the Finnish guy who wants to buy 50% of the club and then give 50% to the fans. But he wants us to pay £3 for an app where we can vote for crucial things in the club, which is just, in my opinion, is very stupid. United fans can't even agree on who they want at right back. You have idiot fans like United Trey just tweeting nonsense. I don't want fans owning the club. I'll be so honest. Plus, you don't even know who qualifies as a United fan. Like, you could literally be a Liverpool fan, pay you £3, and then you could be a poll saying, "Oh, do you want to keep Weghorst or sign Harry Kane?" Exactly, like it's such a stupid concept when you maybe I need to
Workhorse for
listen
the
to
vibe.
hear him out.
He's such a great dressing room vibe. I keep seeing.
Yeah, it's just I don't really understand the concept of his bid. Maybe I need to look into it more, but from at face value, it seems really stupid to me. I don't trust United. Well, I love United fans, but there's some of them that are very, very stupid. And I won't trust them with anything. Like honestly, I don't think. Would you want that for Arsenal, or would you want that for if like Joshua neutral?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
It's like,
not.
I don't
I
think
wouldn't
anyone
want it
would
for
want that
myself.
for their club.
Like I'm like
Yeah.
even me. Like I'm not. I'm not of the knowledge of football to be making decisions on a board level. Like I don't have them qualifications. Like I don't want some bozo to who has no football knowledge at all just watch Arsenal on a Saturday to be making decisions. Like I want someone appointed who's an expert. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so the situation is interesting. We just have to wait and see.
And Liverpool
I'm seeing
not getting
reports
taken
that
over.
nah, they're not up for sale. They're not. They got played. Yeah, FFG are not selling. They're not selling.
And they're not
Maybe they
getting
might
Bellingham.
take investment, but yeah, they're not getting Bellingham as well. According to Ornstein, they're not getting Bellingham. Well, they're out of the race. They don't have the funds.
That's jokes.
But yeah,
That is-
I've seen possible bid of 6 billion from Sheikh Dassim. I think the Glazers want 6 billion for the club, which is a joke. Hopefully it goes through though, because it's not my money, so I don't care.
yeah, facts.
Yeah, but yeah, it's an interesting situation. We just have to see how it plays out, and also it really affects our transfer window as well because if the Glazers aren't thinking about signing Osimhen or signing a midfielder because if they're thinking about selling the club. And if we still have the Glazers in charge, we're probably not going to get certain targets. You need to prepare for next season. You can't prepare properly unless you have the ownership situations sorted out. It's effect on even this season and next season. I just hope it gets resolved quickly. But yeah, yeah, I think pretty much said all I need to say on the United takeover situation. Probably revisit it if we do get bought. But yeah.
When you talk about Ozil, real baller.
Can give a little
Yeah,
think
they're
piece
like
as well.
Bro, underachiever, man. Underachiever.
Even if you underachieve, man, that was a magical ball, man.
To be that talented player and only have one league title is crazy.
He has a World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup.
He
And
has
to
a
be
World
fair,
Cup.
being a main player as well, that done a lot for his legacy. But apart from that, like 4 FA Cups ain't gonna save you, bro. It should even be free because the last one, bro, was not a part.
Nah, I rate his thing.
I don't really have much to say on those. Yeah, respect to him.
Nah,
And his
he's
career.
a cool player, but he definitely could have done more. I mean, it wasn't fair. Like we fed him Giroud when he was at his peak. Like it could have been a whole different story, man. If Arsene Wenger didn't bid 40 million and £1 for Suarez, and if bro actually managed to bring Benzema, then we could be talking a whole different story about if buts and maybes.
Yeah. Now one of the most graceful footballers I've seen, man. World player.
Certified world class.
Bro, he was world class, man. That's why I call world class. That's why I call world class player, man.
Okay, we'll find your. So Josh Odegaard world class, yeah.
He has to do it next season again, though. I don't give one season wonders any.
You think this season he's played at
unless you're
Van
Van Dijk.
Last season, to be fair.
Unless you're Van Dijk. Unless you're
You think
Van
he's
Dijk.
played at a world class level this season, Josh?
Hmm?
You think he's played at a world class level this season? Like, I'm not saying that he's a world class player, but you think that level is a world class level?
Yeah, for Odegaard this season, I would accept
I don't
that.
know if I agree with that, to be honest with you. I think there's players that have had better seasons that haven't been kind of put to that level. Like, do you remember Gundogan a couple of years ago?
Yeah, Gundogan's he's a top quality player, man. He was.
Yeah, but I don't think people.
Gundogan at his best is a world class player, man. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
But no, right now, the way he's playing, some of the passes that he makes, the way he plays. Now I say Odegaard's that's a top player, man. That's a top player.
That's a real eye test baller.
Yeah, no, he's good, man. He's good. He's a good player. Obviously, Saka's been doing his thing this season. He got Saliba as well.
World class. Saka.
Those are the 3 players I look at Arsenal. Who else is there?
Not Partey.
Oh, I used to love Partey, and injuries annoyed me, man. Because remember, I used to say Partey was world class, isn't it? Would I still say he is? I mean,
I think he is. I think this season he's played the majority. He's played vast majority of the games this season.
Because he's been at Arsenal 3 seasons. He's had 2 injury-plagued seasons, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
But I think he was. I think at Atletico he proved that he can, like, that's his level. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, we can include Partey in that. Yeah. So those are the only players, the 4 players I look at Arsenal, and I think, obviously Martinelli, if he continues it up, but he's not.
If he has a, how many goals is he on now? I don't know. If he has like he's on 13 goals. So like there's 10 games left. Let's say he bags 2 more and finishes 15 goals. If he scores 15 goals next season again, I think there's a case to be made.
You can open that case. I can accept that case, innit? I can accept that case. Gabriel is another one. Let's see how he continues. He started obviously because you man will start very well, innit? And then any little mistakes get picked up more. So that's the thing with Gabriel, and he obviously stepped up now, and he looks like very assured now. So
I think age has a factor as well.
Arsenal, got some very top good players, man. You've got some very good players.
I think
we've got a lot of upgradable players, man.
Yeah, that's what I think. People are more looking in terms of like how good these players will be, and like who can like step into that role. Because like for me, I think the players that are most looking to be replaced. I think ironically that we say Partey, I think he probably will be replaced. Like I think Declan Rice is the number 1 target, and then Xhaka. I think Partey, Xhaka. I think probably a striker or a left winger, another one of them, and then a right back. I think that's what Arsenal's summer targets are looking like.
I'm just thinking back of Arsenal of old, man. Ozil, Santi, Alexis.
Techie team, bro. Wenger loved them ballers. He loved them just technical ballers.
Well, Santi, man, that is too underrated, man. Too underrated. Now we hear shouts of Bruno and stuff like that being world class.
Would you say Santi Cazorla?
Hey, Denzel, you still on that?
What? On what?
What'd you say, Dan?
Bruno?
Would you say Santi Cazorla is world class?
Because at the time, I didn't used to think that, innit? But if I'm looking back at it...
Can I tell you something crazy? Do you know he has like 81 or 82 caps for Spain? And do you know the era that he played in? The era that he played in, bro. Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Xabi Alonso, Fabregas, David Silva, Juan Mata. That's like 7 certified world-class players in the same position as you, and you have 80 caps. Oof.
Yeah, I did like Ozula.
If you put him now, you'd say, yo, this guy arguably top 2, top 3 best midfielders in the league, man. He's better than Odegaard.
Yeah.
He's better than Odegaard.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. The standards aren't the same anymore. Man are telling me about Rashford. I'm sorry, I can't accept that.
But you can only discuss current competitive stuff. You can't compare in hindsight, bro. We're talking about the current levels. Do you know what I mean?
Man, I got high standards for these guys, man.
You
especially when you talk about world class.
Bro, this nostalgia.
No, if Rashford does it again next season, he's world class, isn't it? Because Rashford is a good player.
Will. Watch. Probably will.
Yeah, if he does, like I don't.
Probably will. If he doesn't get injured, and another thing, if he doesn't get injured, probably will.
That's good, man. That's good.
That's good.
Look,
I feel like you just don't like his. I feel like you don't like
Rashford.
Not complete.
Don't like
you like
bro.
Like guys,
you know the funniest thing? You see, I remember, when all you man were on Rashford and you were shit, and I was saying, no, this guy's still.
Yeah, I was on him.
I remember, man were on him,
and
I was saying, no, this guy is a good player, and now, Rashford's world class after 4 good months and this and that, bro.
4 good months, bro. Since the beginning of the season,
you know that player's cold, and he's playing shit. Of course, I'm gonna call him shit. You know what I mean?
No, man was saying that United should move on from him. I remember.
I think it was Martial that I can't lie. I think it was Martial who said.
I said give him 1 more season.
I can't even remember.
I said if he doesn't do well this season, then ship him off. But I said this season's my last straw with Rashford. And
you see, you man know me. I got a good memory. I remember when Dan's one Ore were talking about Henderson being world class. I remember that.
Was Henderson not world class?
Jordan
Henderson.
Josh.
Captained Liverpool to a league title And the Champions League. What?
Henderson.
I said Jordan Henderson is just English El
What's
Neni.
an engine?
Bro,
What's an
we can go
engine?
back on the clips. You can go back on the clips.
Bro, I cooked
I
him.
ain't even watched the episode back, but I remember
It's
some of the
absolute
shouts that we'll
engine.
hear.
I remember I cooked him. I cooked Henderson. I always said that.
No,
Actually,
you
to be
didn't used to
fair,
like him. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know why. For some reason, maybe you smoked something that day, and you were like, "Yo, Henderson's this and that." I remember that.
he deserves his flowers, though. Let's not get it fucked up. He deserves his flowers.
He's all right, man. He's all right.
He's
all right.
He maximized what like little talent he has.
Yeah. No, he's not. He was never a bad player. Like you can rely on him, innit? He's like a reliable sort of player to.
He's a steady
Good
footballer, but
engine.
he's a great captain.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah, obviously now I don't watch football as much, innit? So I struggle to name many world-class players, but from what I remember and what I see of them, so even the Karius, I don't know how you say his name.
Kvaratskhelia.
I can't vouch for that man because I've never seen him play. I can't vouch for him. You get
Bro,
what I'm
watch
saying?
bro play. He's good. He's good. He's very good.
He's nice, bro. He's nice.
Because I've heard a couple saying, him or Saka, innit? I can't say who's better because I ain't really seen that guy.
Bro, that one there it was so weird. Why are they doing that? I don't get it. Why are they doing
Let's
that?
be honest and let's be real. People don't like how good Saka is. Let's be honest.
Oh, I hate that guy. I cannot
People,
stand that guy.
people don't like how good Saka is. And
I
if we're
cannot
being
stand the guy.
real,
No, he's a very, very good footballer. Very, very good
if we're being
footballer.
real,
I can't stand him. He plays for Arsenal.
He's probably been the best right winger, definitely in the league, but maybe in the world in the past, like, I don't know, 6 months to a year.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And then, but you see what I would say, because I agree, he's the best. He's been the best right wing in the league this season. Then, but then I'll say, let's look at the landscape.
You said to a year.
Who's around?
Salah.
No, Salah hasn't been that good this season.
Yeah, but he said in a year span. Okay, you can say since the beginning of this season, Saka's been the best in the world. Yeah.
No, Salah's been dead even 2022, bro. What are you talking about? Salah's not been that.
Fair enough.
When we're looking at European landscape, because I'm sorry, the quality of footballers nowadays isn't as good. Who are the right wingers?
The right wingers.
There's not that many.
I mean, Bayern have like Sane, Gnabry, Coman, Musiala, who all just interchange.
Bro, yeah, there's not really that many good. Even Barca don't have good wingers. I don't think Rafinha is that good. I think he's kind of white.
I can't
rate him like that. I've never rated him like that.
No, you rated him, bro. He's literally. I can't lie. Watching play, he's basically the same player as Anthony, in my opinion. I'll be so real.
Hey, that stinks.
I'll be so real.
Nah, that stinks. Hey, that's no.
I'll be so real. He's basically the same as Anthony.
No,
I watched him play against United. I was like, this guy's basically just Anthony. Good PR.
Maybe
this guy's Anthony with good PR.
I've watched him quite a few times.
Anthony with good PR. I don't care. I don't think he's that good.
No.
I don't really rate him. I don't rate him at all. I think he's mid.
That's a big disrespect.
I don't rate him. Rafinha, like, bro. I'd have Anthony in my squad than Rafinha. I'll be so real.
Oh, never.
Yeah.
Never.
Bro, I don't rate Rafinha at all. I think he's so mid.
Yeah, nah, you don't rate him that much either.
No,
Barca's got some dead wingers, man. What, Ferran Torres, Rafinha, who else?
Usman Dembele.
Relax. No, those two are good.
Dembele had a. I'll never let Dembele live. In fact,
the World Cup final.
We need to address your boy. Yeah, that's what's gonna bring up. We need to
Hall of Fame
intervention.
Stinker.
Like, you know what?
My legs are crossed. Man's ready. What? Bro, what?
But this is a separate episode. That's a separate episode. We're gonna have a Dembele intervention just for Josh. Not today, because we'll be here all day. But it's coming, guys.
That World Cup final.
A Josh intervention is coming. More talented than better player than Mbappe. More talented than Mbappe.
I stand by that, bro. Stand by that.
I'm not gonna say more. We'll address it in another episode.
Yeah, bro, you need to understand, man's shameless, you know. Bro, when I say something, I mean it with chest, bro. Man think I'm here to say, man's I said that shit. Yeah, he's more talented than
bro.
What?
Bro.
I said it.
Step overs don't mean you're more talented, bro.
That's step over, bro.
Okay. But yeah, we're approaching an hour and 30, so I think we probably should wrap it up around now.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, stay tuned. Josh's intervention is coming soon.
Yeah, can we choose someone better than Dembele? There's other guys, man. You can choose.
There's gonna be
You
more
need to tell
guys
us
in
who you
here.
vote for, bro.
Hmm?
You need to
Do we
give
know
us the
Dembele?
list of your guys and we'll scrutinize
Okay,
them.
we're
all.
writing it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Give
so
us the
what?
list.
Okay.
Obviously, you know,
Dembele.
man's Hazard, Musiala, Drogba,
Oh,
Kante, Modric, Verratti, Benzema, Thiago Silva, Van Dijk. Who else is there?
Usman
Lam.
Dembele.
Yeah, you can put Usman Dembele. I like Rodrigo
Don't say
as
it
well.
like that.
Rodrigo's-
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. You can put his bro. You right out for this guy, man. Don't say it like it's just some.
You said Rodrigo
brother
who?
that you
Rodrigo,
watch
which
casually.
Rodrigo? The City one.
Massive Rodri.
You said Rodrigo.
He's
who
talking
you
about
talking
Leeds. He's talking about Leeds, don't he?
No, Rodrigo. Real Madrid,
What
man.
Leeds?
Oh, my bad. The
Leeds.
I don't think it's
Bengali
on
winner.
that. I don't think it's on that. But he's good, but he's not amazing.
No, that's a talent. That's a talent.
Bro, he's not gonna be that guy. He'll never be that guy, in my opinion.
Talent,
He's
man.
good, but he'll
He's
never be
young,
that
bro.
guy.
He's young.
But yeah,
Neymar is
we're
another
actually
one.
gonna.
That's my guy as well. I used to be a Messi guy, big time, bro. But then I don't know. I just fell off with Messi. You want me to name more?
No, he's not his guy. Nah, you don't have to, man. The intervention is
Sam
coming.
Maximan.
I've heard
Oh, I
enough.
forgot about that's my
That's
boy. That's
another
my boy as well. That's my
Sam
boy.
Maximan.
That's my
your
boy.
boy's not looking too
Mr.
good.
Eye Test.
That's my
Wait,
boy.
so wait. Does Rafinha pass the eye test?
Which Rafinha?
Not for
Rafinha.
me.
Yes.
Not for me.
And
I don't
but
know.
Sam
I don't care
Maximan
about-
does.
I don't care about him, man. I don't care about Rafinha.
Bro,
I don't care,
this
man.
is an easy cop out, man.
Well, you know the ones where I don't care about the ball. Like, he's all right. Yeah, say he
Bro.
does. Go on then.
All
He
right,
does.
man.
Yeah.
Sam Maximan. The way you ride out for that guy, I'll never understand.
Bro, Eze is another one. That's my guy as well.
Is it? What do you think about Elise?
I like Elise, innit? I like Elise.
I think he fell off a bit this season. He has no intensity, man.
Yeah, unbothered guy.
You see the thing with
No
Elise,
celebration
you
when he
gotta
scores a
have
world.
players around him,
It's
innit?
boring.
You can't expect him to be like a 1v1 sort
Do
of
you think
winner.
he
You have
plays
to
to the level that his team is? So you think if he's on a good team, he'll be like? You think he's I can't even remember what it's not a system player, but a luxury player. You think he's a luxury player?
I don't think he's that quality, bro, or to be like. I think he's one of those players. He's part of the team, innit? He's a piece in the team. But if you're talking about the guy in it, like you look towards,
Yeah.
I don't see him as that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't look at him as that. But no, he's a top talent, though. He's a top talent. I like him. I like him a lot. I'm thinking the United players I used to like. You know.
No, we don't need Josh Peter, man. That's fine. We're good. We're good.
No, I don't like any of your players now, innit? Really?
I'm surprised you don't rate.
Well, you don't like
Sandy.
Ericsson. You don't like Ericsson.
No, he's all right. He's a good player, innit? But I don't vouch for him. You see, I got stocks in it. There's stocks, and then there's stocks. Like I've put my stamp. I stamped my authority on that one. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my guys. I like ESR. ESR is another guy that I really like when he was coming through, and still young in it. But let's see how he's going.
Well, you don't like Garnacho.
I like him. Garnacho.
I said who?
Nachos.
You don't watch football. You don't watch football.
Garnacho. You know the United baller. Man said Nacho.
Garnacho.
Monreal, you know.
I don't care about him. What? I don't care about Garnacho.
Bro, he's become a footballer.
Cherky. Man, forgot about Cherky. Cherky's my guy still as well, man.
Bro, he's been your guy for years. What is he doing? Nothing, man.
Yeah,
no.
failed wonder
He's
kid, man.
starting to break through now. Starting to break through a bit.
He's starting to break through.
Nah, failed wonder kid.
27.
Wow, bro.
He's like, what? He's like 18? He's like 19?
Yeah.
Bro.
He's a grown-ass man, bro.
Hey.
Let's actually check that.
Dirk counts another one?
Don't mention that. That meaty
Oh,
baller, bro.
Lord have mercy. man.
Meaty. No skill, just aggression.
Can't even name the players like that anymore.
Yeah, man.
I do like Gundogan a lot as well. Gundogan's my guy as well. Pogba, I used to really like Pogba as well. But no, not that from.
But yeah, man. Yeah, I feel like we've spoken for hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I think probably wrap this one up. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Obviously, a lot is going to be happening. The title race is crunching down. A lot of different things happening in football. So be sure to stay tuned to the channel. We're trying to grow on different platforms as well. We've got our Instagram back up and running. Gonna try to be posting more on the TikTok too. We've got the Twitter page. Yeah, so you guys just follow all those pages. It's the same everywhere, Football Heritage Podcast. And yeah, hope you guys have a blessed night.